Oh, buffering again. Here we go. All right. Well, the backup recording is recording, so if it's really bad, um, I'll do the upload again. Just if it just started, I'll make the note that I get about an hour and 15 minutes in before things fall apart. I'll kind of is it as bad as last week? I guess is the question, because this is going to be an issue. Anyway, because I got a few more things I want to get through before it falls apart. One thing I do know is, and this is happening more quickly than it used to, when I put up a graphic, a still graphic, or I put up the computer screen for any length of time, data rate plummets, and YouTube does not like that. Last week it was plummeting when there was there were issues when there was motion on the screen. So there's some sort of issue. I'm not happy about it. Let me jump through the rest of this stuff real quick. You guys ought to listen to this podcast. The link is below. Joe really nails the difference between most of the Korg R&D, Pi Corgis, and synths like the Moog Messenger as far as user experience and whatnot is concerned. It's 10, yeah. Yeah, I'd have to redesign. I used to have a preset that would let me that had my face up while the graphics were up. I wiped those out. I've got placeholders for them on the Stream Deck. I just haven't put them back in yet. So that'll be an assignment for this week. So Joe's commentary on the programming of synths like the multi-poly and the mod wave and the wave state are why I tend to like to use the VST versions better for sound design than actually working on the hardware. There are too many layers to work through the interface that they designed for sound design the way I work. They're fine for performance, but I have difficulty with them for sound design. The Ops 6 is the outlier in that category. I find its hardware to be extremely approachable and really easy to get through for probably 90% of things. There's a couple, bits of business that I don't really use all that much, but they're a little trickier. But let's see. Yeah, so that's a I definitely prefer my big screen software, those synthesizers, versus digging down through the menus. The multi-poly is actually particularly difficult because it's 4 complete synths in the box, and keeping track of where you are in that is difficult. If it's something like a messenger, like a Moog Messenger, the little Pro 800, the user interface designs on these guys are fantastic. Yes, there's menus. Yes, you've got to use a screen, screens or display, but everything is very clearly thought out and very clearly labeled, and I don't find it to be that way on the on the Korgs. Yeah, and Danny, that's where I was going to go. The user algorithm on the Ops 6 is what's hard, and that's something where ASM has really nailed user algorithms. It's so easy on this thing to do that. Yeah, and it's like the on Sonic synth navigation button layout things right there on the panel. It's really brilliantly done. So funny thing about that, Pittsburgh Modular has dropped a new synth, and it's got a little bay in it for adding Eurorack modules if you want to. But they've got it covered over with a graphic. The blank panel that comes with it is a graphic that shows the synth architecture, and people are griping about that. They say it looks cheesy. It's like, really? got a nice little graphic that shows you where things are in your synth. It's like, I don't know. You can't make people happy. So anyway, that's that. Couple more points from the podcast, and then I'm going to get out of here. I hate wearing hats. Just so you know, I used to wear hats, but I never really liked it. A hard hat is okay when necessary, and I'll leave it at that. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know they could read it or not. So, but it's a picture on the. It's a little diagram on the synth, Luke, that goes in that slot. So there were some comments about. There were some comments on the podcast about failure points, motorized analog rotary pots or faders and their longevity. They're not going to die. Yeah, they're a point of failure, but after years and years of use. I've got a 22-year-old Yamaha mixer, an 01 V96, that one of its 16 flying faders has finally started to show a problem. That mechanical faders, mechanical knobs, they've been in use for decades and they're fine. Encoders are still better. Don't get me wrong. I like the modern encoders better. But honestly, even just a few years ago, encoders were falling apart faster than motorized knobs and stuff. So, I don't think you're going to see this the new Korg thing, I think, and then this other thing that's got motorized knobs on it. I don't think you're going to see any problems from them. I think they're going to work fine. So they're not, as long as they use even halfway decent ones, they'll be just fine. So let's see, user experience. The PPG user experience sucks. That's all there is to it. Even in software, it's bad. So, looping back to displays. We've talked about it before on the channel. I like a clear interactive display, whether it be a touch display or not, or knobs arranged right near them. Something that it gets a good, clear, sharp graphic. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't necessarily think a good display needs to be graphical. It just needs to be logically laid out. So some examples of good displays or screens are the Leviasynth, Hydrasynth, with its array of little screens, but they're really well done. I think the OP6 screen is actually quite good. The Ensonics, the SQ80, ESQ1, VFX, etc., all of their screens, all of their larger screens were quite good. The two-line displays are two-line displays, just as bad as everybody else's. And all of these are different styles of displays. I'm still, as far as displays are concerned, I'm still trying to decide whether I like the one on the Astrolab. It's good. It shows you what you need. It's clear. It's easy to navigate, and that's what's important. I do universally dislike 4-digit cryptogram LED displays, and that includes the Pro 800/Prophet 600. But I love the synth, so I put up with it. It's one of those kind of things. And yes, I agree, Luke, that synths with displays, the ergonomics, if they're not done right, can give you what you call gorilla arm. To that end, I thought this was going to work out like this, but I don't know. This gets uncomfortable, so I'm probably going to end up rearranging this so that the Leviasynth and the Hydrasynth are at a lower level and other stuff above it or otherwise arranged. I've got room for another rack on that table, so that's gonna get rearranged. I'll get another rack in there to deal with that. Buffering again, of course. Let's see. Pigments unfortunately has some params that aren't mappable, like oscillator type. No, you're right. there are some things that are not mappable in pigments, but the amount of stuff that is mappable in pigments is just there's just well, let's see. I can't really show it to you well here, but if we look down here in this little box here in the corner, this list is everything that's mappable. And yeah, the oscillator type, you do have to set that. You know, if I'm going here, I do have to set this stuff from the menu. But I think that's okay. You know, again, for me, as I've said, I like to, you know, I like to do my sound design on the computer. So for me, this is great. I pick my oscillator and you know my oscillator type. My God, there's a lot of them. And wave or my waves or whatever. You know, there are some things you got to do on the computer. But for me, I'm fine with that. And again, my hardware component, my hardware interest is being able to play. I don't need that stuff when I'm playing. You know, when I'm playing at that point, I'm playing my design. You know, I don't need every single knob or every single button when I'm playing back a patch. You know, so again, you know, not it's not. If I want that level of control of something, I'm going to build out a big modular. You know, I don't. But again, I don't need that in performance. So, actually, she is done with her with her online stuff for the night, I think. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to it looks like I'm definitely going to have to upload a. Um, I'm definitely going to have to upload like the last 15, 20 minutes of the thing as a separate video. Again, this is really not good. So anyway, I had some other stuff I wanted to talk to. It's 9:30, so we'll push it off to next week. It's actually kind of a follow-on to the Luke's Gorilla Arm problem, and we'll talk about that because I've seen some really bad advice being given out on the internet about ergonomics, and you know people are going to it's going to hurt people. So we're going to talk about that. We will talk about that next week because it is important. And otherwise, since the stream's falling apart anyway, no, I'm not muted. Not muted. So if we've lost audio, you'll catch it on the replay when I upload the other part of it. Guys, thanks. We'll talk to you all later. Have a fantastic evening. Oh, I just dropped. So see y'all. Bye-bye. Talk to you later.